Hello, my dear friends. Let's begin with the chapter 6, Money and Finance. Here, the author is referring to an incident that is set to occur in the year 2046. The year 2046, the place somewhere in the world. A man in his 60s is talking to his granddaughter, Anita, 10 years old. Their dialogue follows. Grandfather: Anita, did you have fun at school today? Did you learn anything interesting? Anita: Yes, Grandpa, we studied some history, but the teacher talked about something called money. What was money? Grandpa: Anita, in the old days, long before you were born, when I was a young man, we had these little pieces of paper that had different designs and colors and numbers written on them. We called these pieces of paper money. Anita: Grandpa, did you like to play with these pieces of paper you called money? Just like I enjoy playing cards, which are little pieces of paper with colors and numbers on them. Grandpa: No, Anita, we never played with money. It was too precious to play with. Anita: So if you did not play with them, then why did you have them? Grandpa: Well, everyone needed money to buy things. When you went to the store and bought anything, you had to pay for things with money. Anita: This is strange. And what if you forgot to take your money with you? Grandpa: Then you couldn't buy anything and you would have to come home empty-handed. Anita: But wouldn't the store sell you some money? I can buy my playing cards at the store, Grandpa. Grandpa: No, Anita, money was different from playing cards. In fact, it was different from anything else. You needed money to buy everything else. Anita: Why was it different from playing cards? You said it was pieces of paper with drawings, colors, numbers on them. I don't see the difference. So why would the store not sell money? Grandpa: You see, Anita, if you go to the store and buy playing cards, you or your parents have to show your ID card or your thumbprint to pay for it. In the old days, we did not have ID cards, so we had to use money to pay for things. Anita: But did everyone still have thumbprints, Grandpa? Grandpa: Yes, we have always had thumbprints. Anita: Then why did you need money? Now let's discuss about the obsolete concept of money. The reason Anita has a hard time understanding money is because there is no such thing in the new world. Besides, why would anyone want to complicate his life by having to carry little pieces of paper and maybe some coins at all times? And you never knew if you had enough, or what if you forgot to carry any money? Let's talk about the illusion of money. What is money? Money as we presently know it has no real value. There used to be a time when most paper money was backed up by an equivalent amount of gold or some other precious metal. But those days are long gone. Nowadays, governments and central banks of various countries just print as much money as they like. There is no limit to how much money they can print, so the pieces of paper lose their value. For example, think of the US dollar. There is absolutely nothing to back up the US dollar except the full faith and goodwill of the US government. Did you know that USA as a nation has been bankrupt continuously since 1913? How much goodwill can a bankrupt nation have? Besides, the Federal Reserve Bank of the USA is not owned by and has nothing to do with the US government. It is owned by private banks. Let's talk about printing empty promises. Throughout our history, many countries have printed and continue printing as much money as they like. This paper money goes into circulation, but its worth keeps going down further and further. Even in the last century, there were many cases of currencies that became so useless that one had to carry a wheelbarrow full of paper money just to buy a loaf of bread. And some of these currencies literally keep losing their value every single day. Then there are many cases in which the currencies became so devalued and useless that the governments decided to print a new currency. In one case, 1 unit of the new currency equaled 1,000 units of the old one. So what is the true value of that paper money? Let's talk about running to the bank in South America. Two different friends of mine from the USA were working in two different South American countries in the latter part of the 20th century. Both of them were getting paid in the local currencies, but being foreigners, were allowed to officially convert their earned money into US dollars. Separately, both of them related identical experiences to me at different times. As soon as they received their paychecks, they would literally run to the bank to convert the money into US dollars. Invariably, the lines at the bank were long. Many a time, they had the experience that from the time they reached the bank to the time they reached the bank teller window, the exchange rate would change. I repeat again, many a time they had the experience that from the time they reached the bank to the time they reached the bank teller window, the exchange rate would change and they would get fewer US dollars for their paychecks. So, what is the true value of that paper money? Let's talk about the German mark, a wise investment. During the First World War in early 20th century, Germany kept printing a lot of paper money, that is German marks, to finance the war effort. At the end of the war, the mark had fallen in value drastically. When Germany lost the war, the mark was at its lowest. My grandfather in India was advised by an international financial consultant that the German mark can't fall any further now that Germany has surrendered. This was a good time to buy German marks since it could only go up in value. Following the advice of this international financial consultant, my grandfather converted about 1,000,000 Indian rupees into German marks and waited for the German marks to go up in value. Then there was the big surprise. The Germans decided to issue a totally new currency and invalidate the old one. My grandfather lost his entire investment. So, what is the true value of that paper money? What is money? More and more, money is not even paper currency anymore. Even that is disappearing. Maybe it is numbers on a piece of paper, such as a bank statement, or more likely numbers on a computer screen. These numbers keep going up and down for no apparent reason. Let's talk about Jane's money and emotions. Jane has a good job and some inherited money. She likes to invest her money in the stock or share market. She has worked up a portfolio of stocks in different companies. At least once a day, Jane likes to check her investments. On Monday, she checks the value of her investment portfolio, and the value is $95,550. On Tuesday, since some of the shares in her portfolio have gone up considerably, her investment portfolio valuation has gone up to $101,228. On Tuesday, Jane is feeling rich and happy. She is congratulating herself for being a smart investor who knows how to pick which shares to buy. On Wednesday, since some of the shares in her portfolio have gone down considerably, her investment portfolio valuation has gone down to $89,995. On Wednesday, Jane is feeling really down and depressed. She blames her luck and anyone else that she can think of for her losses. Come to think of it, absolutely nothing changes in Jane's life. On Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Jane lives in the same house, eats the same types of foods, has the same job and the same friends, has the same intelligence level, everything is the same. The only change is in some numbers flashing on a computer screen. Yet, those changing numbers on a computer screen are sending Jane's emotions on a roller coaster ride. Now let's talk about Jane goes to Las Vegas. Las Vegas is the gambling capital of the world. People from all around the world come to its myriad of casinos. Jane goes there for her weekend vacation and goes gambling for fun and entertainment. Of course, like every other gambler, Jane goes with the expectation of winning, even though Jane knows fully well that the odds of winning are outrageously against her and totally in favor of the casinos. Jane puts her credit card in one of the electronic slot machines, starts with an initial credit of $1,000, and spends several hours the first night in Las Vegas playing the slot machine. Each time she spins the machine, she either wins or loses, and her electronic balance changes. The balance is nothing but some numbers flashing on a computer screen. Each time the number goes up, Jane feels elated and happy. Each time the number goes down, Jane feels bad and curses the machine. At the end of the first night, Jane ends up with a balance of $1,020. Jane is feeling she's smart and lucky and goes to bed happy, looking forward to the next day when she can make some more money. The next day, she starts with a balance of $1,220 and spends several more hours on the machine. Once again, each time the number goes up, Jane feels elated and happy. Each time the number goes down, Jane feels bad and curses the machine. At the end of the second night, not only has Jane lost the $1,220 she started with, but she had to borrow another $500 and she loses that too. So she has lost a total of $1,500 on her weekend gambling trip to Las Vegas. Yet, those changing numbers on a computer screen are sending Jane's emotions on a roller coaster ride. Instead of having fun and entertainment, Jane is feeling depressed and miserable after the entire weekend. And all due to some flashing numbers on a computer screen. Let's talk about life without money in the new world. In the new world, there will be no such thing as money. There will be a centralized automated accounting system that will be universally accessible from every place in the world. Every person in the world will have a unique identification card, that is, ID card, that links to the person's account. This would be the equivalent of a bank account. The account will also carry a thumbprint of the account holder. Every place that you could think of spending money will have a thumbprint reader and an ID card reader similar to a credit card reader that will connect to the centralized automated accounting system. Every time you want to buy something, all you have to do is put your thumb in the thumbprint reader and the amount is automatically transferred from your account to the seller's account. This is similar to using a debit card today. Now, let us say you want to give your card to your daughter so she can buy things using your account. You can give her your ID card. However, to use it, she will still have to put her thumb in the thumbprint reader. So, for every transaction, there is a complete record of who made that transaction. Let's talk about who wants to steal my ID card. Imagine John finds or steals my ID card. Before I report my ID card as stolen, John uses it to purchase something. He uses my ID card, but he still has to use his own thumbprint for that purchase. He will complete the purchase without any problem. Later, I realize that my ID card is missing and I report it as lost or stolen. The central computer system marks it as lost or stolen. It instantly does a search to see if it has been used. It now finds that John has used it. The operator from the central system phones me to inquire whether I had authorized John to use the card. I tell him I do not even know John and did not authorize John to use it. Immediately, the central computer marks and blocks John's thumbprint. It also transfers the amount of the unauthorized purchase from my account to John's account. That means I have not lost anything no matter how many times John used my card. Meanwhile, John can no longer purchase anything anywhere since his thumbprint has been blocked. John is forced to make up for all the losses and apologize for his behavior. Let's talk about what if John doesn't have the money. There is no question of anyone ever running out of money since we are not using money in the first place. All we have is a system of debits and credits in a computerized accounting system. They are only changing numbers on a computer screen. Whenever you earn money or someone pays you, your account balance goes up. Whenever you spend money or buy something, your account balance goes down. The worst that can happen is that your account balance is negative. That is no different from your having a loan in today's world. Let's talk about but life is fair. The only difference which works in everyone's favor is that there are no bankers arbitrarily deciding who gets a loan and who doesn't, or how big a loan one gets. The system is set up so everyone's account can go negative if needed. No credit check needed, and no loan applications ever need to be completed or filed. Who needs those controlling bankers anyway? Let's talk about, can I run up a massive debt? Hypothetically, it would be possible to run up a massive debt. Call it a negative balance in your account. Practically, it would very rarely happen. This is because in the new world, everyone's thinking has changed. The fourth dimension is the dimension of the global mind. People stop thinking of their own good and start thinking of the common good. A person in the fourth dimension will not allow his balance to go negative or remain negative for long. He will automatically contribute to society by earning some money and raising his account balance to positive. This change in thinking is a prerequisite for the system to work. In today's world of the third dimension, such a system of the universal unlimited credit will not work. But in the fourth or higher dimensions, it works well. Let's talk about good for self or good for society. In the third dimension, almost everything is done with the intent and purpose of making money for the self. We want to make investments that will give us the most returns. If you are making a lot of money, someone else must be losing a lot of money. Otherwise, where is that money coming from? If a company is making a big profit, it means they are selling their products at a much higher price than their cost. That means every customer is losing out since he is paying much more than he needs to pay for that product. And where is that profit going? To the shareholders who are generally doing absolutely nothing for the company. In the new world or the fourth dimension, everything will be done with the intention of doing something for the common good. Let's talk about the chair maker and the stockbroker. The chair maker makes chairs that benefit people in general because he is creating things that make our lives better. As long as he is selling his chairs at a reasonable profit margin, not an exorbitant one, he will thrive in the new world since his business is good for society. A stockbroker, on the other hand, is only providing a service that is good for self. Let us say I have 100 shares of company X that sell for $50 per share. The total value is $5,000. Let us assume that you have $5,500 in your bank account. Presume that the stockbroker arranges for you to buy my 100 shares of company X. You pay the stockbroker your $5,500. The stockbroker pays me $5,000 and retains $500 as his fee for the transaction. I now transfer my 100 shares of company X to your name. End of transaction. All I have done is given you a piece of paper which says it is 100 shares of company X. Instead of my name being on that piece of paper, now your name is on it. Similarly, instead of you holding the $5,000 in cash, now I'm holding it, and the stockbroker got another $500 from you. Company X did not benefit from this transaction in any way. To the society in general, this transaction had no benefit. The only one benefiting from this transaction is the stockbroker. No benefit whatsoever for society or for company X. This is an example of a business which is only good for self. In the new world, there will be no stockbrokers and no stock markets. Stock markets and casinos both offer pure gambling. Imagine a global company, well established, for instance, IBM. For the sake of an example, let's say the share price today is $100 per share. Tomorrow, whether the price moves up to $110 per share or whether it moves down to $89 per share makes absolutely no difference to the company. The company still has the same number of employees, the same properties, products, same customer base, same factories, etc. etc. Everything stays the same, yet the share price moves. The share price fluctuation is pure speculation. Let's talk about insurance, another good for self business. Take life insurance for example. It increases the polarity in our world. Life insurance helps the rich get richer and the poor become poorer. A rich man can afford to buy a $5 million policy. He passes away and his heirs become $5 million richer. A poor man cannot afford any life insurance. He passes away and his heirs become even poorer since they lost their breadwinner. Life insurance creates a great divide in our society. Take health insurance for example. It says only the rich people need to be treated. The poor man cannot afford insurance and is often denied treatment at hospitals and by doctors and medical professionals. Health insurance says only the rich need treatment and the poor people's lives are not important. Why should a society not care for everyone's health? We can go on with other examples, but the story is the same. All the benefits accrue to the rich, the ones who don't need it because they can afford to pay for it. In the new world, there will be no such thing as insurance of any kind. All persons will be afforded equal protection in all areas. Human dignity will be back. Look forward to the new world without money and with good for society businesses. This is the end of the chapter. Thank you.